Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're going to be looking at this Reddit post. God, it's such a great Reddit post. It's like it sums up like all the themes that I've been talking about recently. So I really appreciate Kirill Perrin, and I'm pretty sure I pronounced that right because I went out to his LinkedIn page and he's got one of those little voice, speaker things, and and he pronounced it, so I mimicking it exactly as best I can. So Kirill, he sent me the link to this post, and boy, is it just awesome. So like I said, it encapsulates so many different themes that I've talked about on this channel. So basically, what they're complaining about is that they woke up one morning and the March update basically broke the card visuals, the new card visuals. And so they had to go through and update everything within the service that had been using the new card visuals, right? And then also in the same week, one of his major semantic models broke and got corrupted, and he basically had to rebuild it and then relink all the reports that were connected to that semantic model, right? So let's just the first thing. What have I been saying on this channel? Do not use preview features, right? So the new card visual is a preview feature. Sure, it's been around, it's been out for a year in preview, but so is everything else, right? I mean, probably the average age in the preview is probably closing in on like 3 years these days. I mean, field level parameters are still preview. I mean, the original like shape map is still preview. That thing's like 6 or 7 years old. Right, so nothing gets out of preview these days, and so whenever you see like the March update came out with a preview, it's like, oh, those won't be, we won't get those for another 6 years, right? So, so that's the first thing, right? Is don't use preview features. This is why. Not that Microsoft couldn't have introduced a bug that broke, an actual feature that is actual, like GA or whatever, right? Because they absolutely could, because, again, the second part that I'm going to explore is just how shoddy, right, their development and their QA is, right? Obviously, I've been talked about that ad nauseum on this channel, right? But it's even there's just no recourse if it's a preview feature. Like they're under no obligation to even fix it until the next go around, right? So don't use preview features. Yes, everything's there's 30 preview features or something stupid, right? That are in the product, and let's just talk about this in terms of the shoddiness of the updates that go on within Power BI. At this point, it's something systemic within that group, that development group, right? Or, it has to be, because I get regular updates for Microsoft Office, right? And my Excel just doesn't blow up on random shit, every month. Okay. So other parts of Microsoft are seem to be fairly competent, like at least have a minimal level of competency where they don't break stuff every time that they update, right? So other parts of Microsoft are capable of doing that, right? Just minimal level of competency, don't break shit. Like when you introduce and push out a new feature, right? Pretty simple, right? It's the minimum qualification for pushing something out that's new is don't break a bunch of stuff, right? But apparently that's never like this team is incapable, right? But it's not systemic to all of Microsoft. It's just systemic to this poorly functioning team that we have that now is currently doing Power BI development, right? And that I think is a huge problem for Microsoft, honestly, especially when it comes to Fabric, right? Because now my Power BI is you're up over 30 million people, something like that, in terms of 30 million users that are, monthly users of Power BI. So basically, on display for 30 million people is you fumbling the ball, Microsoft, every month, like sometimes multiple times a month, right? That's on display for all 30 million people to see. And do you think really that as those 30 million people witness daily your incompetence, that they're going to be like, oh yeah, let's sign up for Fabric because that's a good idea. It's also made by Microsoft and it's made by the same people that are making this stuff and causing my life to be miserable. It's ridiculous. It's a huge problem for you, Microsoft. And I don't know why you have no interest in. I've been talking about it for 2 years now. And it's gotten worse, right? It just continually gets worse. And I think it's a real problem for Fabric. I really do. That it's just Power BI is just off the rails, right? It's just every month, multiple times a month, they break stuff and stuff just goes haywire. it's just there's zero quality within the product right now. And I don't know if it's systemic within Power BI, because really, if you think about it, Power BI is the first Microsoft product that it has reached, 10 years of age, that it was developed in an agile, from the very get-go, agile process, right? Not these 3-year cycles, and all that sort of the waterfall kind of approach, right? It was developed, every month they were coming out with stuff. And I just wonder if, basically them prioritizing new feature functionality, and speed, basically, it's the iron triangle, right? Good, fast, cheap. So, it's cheap and it's fast, but so it's not good. And maybe that's caught up to them, after 10 years. It's just a god awful code base, right? It's like the GTA 5 code base, or um I don't know. I love watching videos on some of them where they read like the Rockstar code, and they're like, this is terrible. This is the worst thing ever, but I have to go with it, right? I love watching those videos where you see all the developer comments, and I gotta believe that Power BI is chock full of those things right now at this point. I mean, it's almost, and this goes again back to my theory about, Fabric, desktop. It might be just better to scrap the whole damn thing at this point and start over, right? There's sunk cost fallacy all over the place. They can't even touch anything, without breaking like 20 things, right? It's just so sad to see, in a product that I've spent a long time with in terms of my career. Anyway, so there's all of those kind of issues, right? And I just this almost just, I don't know, it just brings together so many different themes that I've explored on this thing. And then the kicker right at the end is I can't wait to hear more about these new Fabric features that will be used by the 8 people in the world. I love it. And again, this again goes back to what I've been saying, is that like it just seems like Microsoft's basically abandoned Power BI development. They barely test anything before they release it. Right? They're just, they're all the resources from that team are focused on Fabric, and putting out Fabric, which does not have 30 million, right, users. But so they're doing all this work. What kind of software company does that really, though? It's like you have a wildly successful product that you're then just going to abandon and be like, and treat like, oh God, that's so gross to work on. We don't even care about testing stuff, before we put it out. We're just gonna, yeah, those idiots, or those 30 million idiots, or those accept any slop we give them because they're stupid, right? That's the attitude that Microsoft is taking with Power BI, in my opinion. And we're just going to focus all our resources over here, and then we'll try to convince them to go over here. Well, why would they be convinced, Microsoft, if you're delivering slop for 2 years or more, right? Over here, why would they want to follow you to Fabric? They weren't. They aren't going to follow you to Fabric, right? Because you've abandoned them, and they're going to be like, well, these guys suck. These guys can't handle a simple monthly update without breaking 20 things, right? And that's terribly sad, right? So anyway, that's all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.